Well, we'll kick off the day now with the presentations, which is what you're all here to listen to. So first up, I'd like to welcome Brent Morton to the floor. A little bit about Brent. After growing up on a family farm in New South Wales and going to school in Wagga, he completed an apprenticeship in automotive engine reconditioning with Repco. Still a strong passion for ag, he started working around different parts of Australia with various ag contracting businesses, gaining knowledge and further insight into the ag sector. In 2007, he bought a 1,500-acre cropping enterprise locally where he farms sustainable and precision ag methods. Currently expanded the operation to over 3,500 acres of cropping combined with a contract business. He was a member of the 2014 Grain Growers Great Future Leaders program and hopes to put him into a stronger position for growth and planning in ag. Today, Brent will address pH mapping and variable rate technology to address soil constraint issues.
Thank you, Nicole and Robin, for inviting me to do this to start with. And you've done some research, Nicole, because I didn't give you any of that information, so I don't know where you've come that well. So, as Nicole said, I'm based out at Lake Cow. I've been there for the last 12 years, 13 years, and always had an interest in precision ag. Travelled around Australia, worked in most states contracting, and along that you pick up a few pointers and you work on farms and you think, oh, that works really well, and you try and take it back and implement it at home. So that's actually obviously my setup, spreading out the road towards Ungary, past Ungary. That's me. That's just a few people who have probably already seen this couple of things, but I've just done a course, and that rings true, that timing is still the best and cheapest way to improve your yields. Precision's not always going to be there unless you get that side of it right. Precision ag's not precise, it's just more accurate. So you're not always going to get everything right, but if you can do those couple of things right, you're halfway there. So that's out at Lake Cow, cropping wheat, barley, canola, and had a double in chickpeas last year and favour beans the last couple of years. I'm not sure if I really want to do chickpeas the way they're going at the moment. And favour beans, just the market it's too hard to get into, so great for the soil, but not great for the income. So I got into this, and as I said, I've always had a background in it, like doing it, and if you don't enjoy doing it, you probably won't push yourself to try and go harder. So it's the same with everything. If you don't enjoy doing it, you won't try and go harder with it. We got into it because there was parts of the farm that weren't performing to expectations. There's always variability across paddocks, but what you actually do with them and how you treat them is the next step into going into it. So we started to get into it and used the LLS grant and got EVA and Precision Ag to come out and map, and we did a couple of 4 paddocks to start with, and it's quite amazing when you actually get it there on a map how much variability is in a paddock. You always know there's a little bit, but when it's there in front of you, it's pretty hard truth. The other reason we get into it, I was obviously trying to increase yields on a budget. Bottom line's incomes is what it's all about at the end of the day. If you're not making money off it, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to go broke. So little steps trying to get into it, and then work your way into the bigger ones to start with. Yeah, so as I said, using soil test and yield maps, and you actually start to look at your paddocks in zones rather than fences confining them. And when you can get that into your head, you actually realise there's a lot of things going on within that one paddock. It's not just confined by a fence line. And that was where the zoning and everything starts to come into it. So really you're treating one paddock up to within 3 to 5 paddock different treatments across it. So, and I think that's the easiest way I found to start getting into it is keep your zones to a minimum, 3 to 5. If you start going any more than that, well, it's really will do your heading pretty quickly. And it's hard for your machine management too to vary, to be jumping from zone to zone really, really quickly. So you're better off just to smooth those zones out to start with and work your way into it. And start on a paddock that you know's got variation in it, even if it's just going out and looking through it. And one of the most interesting things I found too, I just did some soil tests here a couple of weeks ago, and it's not until you actually go and dig up those zones and put 3 different soil samples in a bucket in front of you how much variation there is in a paddock, and it surprised me a lot. Just within 80 hectares there was a huge range of soil type. So that's my spreader setup. It's a Magnum tractor, a 12,000 litre Landico spreader. It's all hydraulically driven, just off the Trimble. So as you're driving over it, it's just mapping and just changes. 3 metres, and that's a bit of a plug. I can organise loaders and trucks and to do the job as well. So this is the one of the paddocks that Eva come out and mapped. It's 400 acres, 168 hectares, and you can see there's quite a variation through that. So up in your left-hand corner is actually a bit of a natural watercourse, and it wasn't until 2016 I was stripping on one side, the neighbour was stripping on the other, and we both were hitting that patches and the yields were dropping away. And it actually runs down to where that other red spot is. There's a dam and a natural swamp just on the other side of that. And yet we could actually pick the watercourse going through it just off our yield maps. But obviously it was dry then, but it turned out so that a little bit of enough variation in that paddock to warrant doing a variable rate map over it, and so that's what Eva come back with. So that's our lime spreading map. So I just plug that thumb drive into the back of the GPS, and it makes that pretty picture. As you're driving across, you just see on your screen, just changes the rate. So I worked out if I was to do a 2-tonne flat rate spreading of lime over that at $60 a tonne, it would have been just over 20 grand and 336 tonne of lime. And for the variable rate, worked out it's 248 tonnes, which come back at $1,480. 14 grand, 800. So it's a saving of 5,200, and also which works out about $30 a hectare. So if you can start putting that across your whole farm, it'll add up, and you can save your benefits out of there. And I hope that's been spread, that paddock, and it will. Well, hopefully this year I'll go in and everything will be variable rate fertiliser from starter to urea. Is my plan to get there. That's not I had another. That one. That one's a better yield map. So that's actually the barley. So if I can sort of keep that, you can see the red spot through the red zone through there, and you can sort of start to see a correlation with your pH as well. So, and that's the beauty of it. You can start overlaying when you get a few years worth of yield maps. You can start overlaying them, and then you can pick your zones out off that. You don't have to go to zone soil testing as much. You can actually start to pick your soil types and just go that way. A few excuses why you hear that people don't do it is that we've never done it that way, and we're still here. I think if you're going to take on that perception, you probably won't be there for too much longer with the way things are going. We're not ready for that or set up for it. Well, there's grants around, there's lots of people that can help you to do it and get there, and you'd be surprised when you actually start looking into it, what you've got on your farm that you can actually adapt to go, and what it costs. It doesn't cost a lot to work your way into it. Doing okay without it, well, that's probably the same as we've never done it that way, or it costs too much. Same thing. It's surprising when you actually start getting into it. Don't have to go from nothing to everything in the first year, work your way into it, and it wouldn't work for us. Well, until you try it, you'd be surprised what you can actually get returns off and what make out of it. Yeah, basically, so I've been doing this side of precision ag side of it for 4, 5 years now, and it is addictive. You still get into it, and you find yourself you hate doing blanket rates, and you can just see things wasted and how you do it better, and even the controlled traffic are anal as to who drives across paddocks in which direction now. And so it is a really, I find, interesting and fun thing to get into, and I enjoy it, and that sort of keeps me pushing harder at it and wanting to go further and further with it. And hopefully it pays off at the end of the day. So that's me. Thank you.